There is one habit quietly keeping millions of Americans broke, and it gets stronger every single time they get a raise. It is not laziness, it is not bad luck, and it is not the economy, even though the economy makes a convenient villain. It is a habit so invisible that the people trapped inside it will swear on their lives that they do not have it. The habit is called lifestyle creep, and this is the story of how it kept one man broke at $40,000 a year and then kept him broke again at $120,000. Same man, same city, same habit, triple the income, and somehow the exact same empty bank account at the end of every month. By the end of this video, the machinery behind that trap will be laid out piece by piece, along with the one move that breaks it. Meet Marcus. 24 years old, fresh out of college, starting his first real job in Charlotte for $40,000 a year. His life at $40,000 looks like the life of almost every young American just getting started. He shares a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate, drives a paid-off Honda with 140,000 miles on it, and considers Chipotle a special occasion. Money is tight, therefore every dollar gets interrogated before it is allowed to leave his checking account. He knows the price of gas to the penny, he knows which grocery store has the cheaper chicken, and he knows exactly how many days until payday. Being broke at $40,000 is stressful, but it is also strangely simple, because there is nothing to cut. Marcus tells himself the same sentence that millions of Americans tell themselves every single night. Once the money comes, everything will be fine. And here is the thing. The money actually comes. Marcus works hard, switches companies twice, learns his industry, and by 31, he is earning $120,000 a year. That is triple his starting salary, a number his 24-year-old self would have considered life-changing, generational, problem-ending money. Therefore, according to every promise he ever made himself, Marcus should now be saving thousands of dollars every single month. But when Marcus opens his banking app 3 days before payday, the balance staring back at him is $187. He is broke again. Not metaphorically broke, not feeling poor broke, but genuinely sweating a flat tire broke on a 6-figure salary. And Marcus is not rare, he is the norm. Because surveys keep finding that a huge share of Americans earning over $100,000 still live paycheck to paycheck. So the question is not whether this happens, because it happens everywhere, in every city, in every industry. The question is how. And the answer starts with the single most dangerous property of human spending. Spending is a ratchet. A ratchet is a tool that turns easily in one direction and locks completely in the other. And that is exactly how lifestyle works. Every upgrade Marcus made over those 7 years slid in smoothly, silently, and one at a time. But try to take a single one of them away, and suddenly it feels like an amputation. Watch the ratchet click, upgrade by upgrade, because none of them look dangerous on their own. First raise, and Marcus ditches the roommate because at 26, a man deserves his own space. That is an extra $700 a month, but it barely registers because the raise covers it. Second raise, and the Honda starts making a noise. Therefore, Marcus does what tens of millions of Americans do every year. He walks into a dealership to look, just to look, and drives out with a $42,000 SUV and a 6-year loan. The payment is $640 a month, but the salesman framed it as only $21 a day, and $21 a day sounds like lunch. Third raise, and the apartment upgrades again, this time to the building with the gym, the rooftop, and the granite countertops. Nobody needs granite countertops, but everybody at the new job seems to have them. And that detail matters more than Marcus realizes. Then come the small ones. The upgrades so tiny, they never even feel like decisions. The $11 streaming service becomes 4 streaming services, stacked on top of each other like quiet little toll booths. Cooking becomes DoorDash twice a week, then 4 times, because after a long day, the delivery fee feels like self-care. The $10 gym becomes the $90 gym. The domestic beer becomes the craft cocktail. And the Target run never once comes in under $130. Not one of these upgrades is a catastrophe, and that is precisely what makes the trap so effective. Lifestyle creep never asks for permission. With one big purchase, it asks with 40 small ones spread across 7 years. Therefore, when Marcus looks for the leak in his budget, he cannot find it, because the leak is the entire budget. But the ratchet is only half the machine, because the second half lives inside Marcus's own brain. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation, and it might be the most expensive glitch in human wiring. Hedonic adaptation means every upgrade feels amazing for about 3 weeks, and then it becomes the new invisible normal. The first month in the nice apartment, Marcus walked in every evening and actually admired the countertops. By month 3, the granite was just the place where the Amazon boxes piled up. The new SUV thrilled him for exactly 1 road trip. Therefore, by winter, it was simply the thing that needed $640. This is the cruelest part of the whole trap, and it deserved to be said plainly. Marcus tripled his spending, but he did not triple his happiness. He did not even meaningfully increase it. He bought upgrades that stopped feeling like upgrades, while the bills kept feeling like bills forever. The pleasure faded in weeks, but the payments were locked in for years, and that trade is the entire business model of lifestyle creep. And then there is the third gear in the machine. The one almost nobody talks about, honestly. The reference group. At $40,000, Marcus compared himself to other broke 24-year-olds, and he measured up just fine. But every raise came with a new circle, new coworkers, new neighborhoods, and a new definition of normal. At $120,000, Marcus was suddenly the guy with the cheapest car in the office parking garage. His coworkers talked about Cabo, about kitchen renovations, about their kids' travel soccer leagues that cost more than his old rent. Therefore, Marcus never once felt rich, because the finish line moved every single time his paycheck did. Add social media on top, where everyone's highlight reel looks like a lifestyle he is somehow still failing to afford, and the pressure never stops compounding. This is why lifestyle creep is not really a spending problem, it is a comparison problem wearing a spending problem's clothes. Nobody creeps toward a lifestyle in a vacuum. They creep toward the lifestyle of whoever is standing next to them. Now, here's where the story gets genuinely dangerous. Because being broke at $120,000 is not the same as being broke at $40,000. It is worse. At $40,000, Marcus's broke was flexible because his costs were small, temporary, and easy to escape. A cheap lease, a paid-off car, and a lifestyle that could shrink in a weekend if it ever had to. But at $120,000, Marcus's broke is bolted to the floor. The SUV has a 6-year loan, the apartment has a 14-month lease, and the credit cards carry a balance that grew during the upgrades. His fixed costs, the bills that arrive whether he does anything or not, now devour most of every paycheck before he touches it. Financial planners have a name for this condition, and the name should scare people more than it does. They call it being house poor and payment poor, a person with a wealthy person's obligations and a broke person's cushion. Therefore, one layoff, one medical bill, one bad quarter, and the whole glittering structure comes down like scaffolding in a storm. The $40,000 version of Marcus could survive a crisis by tightening his belt. The $120,000 version has no belt left to tighten because every notch is already spoken for by a contract. That is the true cost of the habit. Not the missing savings, but the missing ability to say no to anything. And the numbers behind it are staggering when they finally get added up. The gap between Marcus's old lifestyle and his new one is roughly $4,000 a month. Had even half of that gap been invested through his 20s and early 30s, Marcus would be sitting on well over $200,000. Instead, he is sitting on granite countertops he no longer notices, in an SUV worth less than he owes on it. He did not spend a fortune on one terrible decision. He leaked a fortune through 40 forgettable ones. So how does anyone actually break a habit that hides this well? A habit that disguises itself as success? The answer is not a budget app, and it is not another round of guilt about coffee and avocados. The answer is attacking the exact moment the habit is born, because lifestyle creep has a birthday. It is born in the 72 hours after good news. Every raise, every bonus, every new job offer opens a tiny window where new money exists, but no habit has claimed it yet. Inside that window, the money is still a number, but once it touches the lifestyle, it becomes an entitlement. And entitlements do not go backward. Therefore, the entire war against lifestyle creep is won or lost in that window, before the ratchet gets a chance to click. The move is almost insultingly simple. And that is exactly why it works. The moment a raise lands, Before the first new paycheck ever arrives, a chunk of it gets automatically routed somewhere it cannot be seen. A retirement account? An index fund? A separate bank the person deliberately makes annoying to log into. The paycheck that hits checking should look only slightly bigger than the old one, because a person cannot crave a lifestyle they never sampled. Marcus never missed the roommate money before he had it, and that is the entire principle in one sentence. Nobody misses a lifestyle they never met. This is why the strategy beats every diet-style budget ever invented, because it requires zero daily willpower. Budgets ask a person to resist temptation 300 times a month, but this asks them to make one decision, once, on a good day, while they are happy. Then there is a second move, and this one hurts a little, but it is the one that saves people already deep in the trap. Once a year, every recurring charge gets dragged into the daylight and forced to reapply for its job. The rent, the car payment, the subscriptions, the memberships, every single auto pay standing in line like employees at a performance review. The question for each one is brutal and clarifying. Would this be bought again today, at this price, from scratch? Most people discover that a shocking share of their so-called lifestyle is just old decisions on autopilot, made by a previous version of themselves for reasons nobody remembers. Marcus ran this exact review at 32, after that $187 night finally scared him straight. The second car became a smaller, paid-off car. 2 of the 4 streaming services died, and the lease was not renewed for the Granite Palace. His coworkers never noticed a single change, and that revelation hit him harder than any of the cuts. All those years of upgrading, and the audience he was performing for, had never once been watching. Within 2 years, Marcus was saving over $3,000 a month on the same salary that used to leave him with $187. Nothing about his income changed, and honestly, surprisingly little about his happiness changed either. The only thing that changed was that his lifestyle finally stopped growing at the exact speed of his paycheck. And that is the entire secret, laid bare. In one line, anyone can carry out the door. Wealth is not the gap between a person and their coworkers. It is the gap between what they earn and what they spend. And lifestyle creep exists to close that gap to zero. The $40,000 version of a person is not broke because of the salary, and neither is the $120,000 version. They are broke because of a habit, a quiet, respectable, granite countertop habit that rides along with every raise like a stowaway. So the next time good news lands, remember that a 72-hour window just opened. Because the raise was never the reward. The raise was the test.